Hi, Sydney. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I'd like to welcome everybody to this session with Thompson Rivers University, where we will be discussing how to make the most of your time at Thompson Rivers University before graduation. We're mostly looking at focusing on smart strategies to prepare you for what it takes for securing a job upon graduation. Here with me is Sydney, and he is a uni representative of TRU, and he is the International Student Recruitment Representative. And in this session, you'll be taking us through what it means to be on TRU's campus, programs, campus life, and most importantly, why we're here, how to make the most of your time at TRU. Hi, Sydney, and welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. So straight off the bat, tell us about Thompson Rivers University.
Okay, so would you like me to do a presentation or just one-on-one?
Just one-on-one for now, and then we'll do a presentation in a couple of minutes.
Okay, that's fine. So the first thing about Thompson Rivers is we are located in the province of British Columbia, which is on the west coast of Canada. We're located in a very beautiful city called Kamloops, which is about a 45-minute flight from Vancouver. From Toronto, we are about a 4-hour flight. So one of the nice things about TRU is that our city, Kamloops, is the interior of British Columbia, which means the weather is not too hot, not too cold. We are a public university, the third largest in our province. My campus right now has 14,000 students, so it's a big campus, but also multicultural, because I have 3,000 international students from over 100 different countries. We're a very young university, 50 years old, but that means we're very vibrant and active, fully accredited by both US and Canadian education bodies, and also our degrees are internationally recognized. Classes are very small as well. Being a young university, we focus a lot on the personal touch, the one-on-one. So you have about 31 students in a classroom. We're also one of 6 research universities in the province, so which means that students, especially our science students, can get into research, but also for the rest of our students, you're learning what is up to date, relevant now to the job market, which will make you very competitive once you graduate. So that's a quick introduction. The city of Kamloops has a population of 100,000 very friendly people. It's like every Canadian city has 4 distinct weathers, but luckily the summers and winters are not too hot. But also because it's a city that is surrounded by a lot of natural beauty, you have 4 seasons of outdoor adventure. You have a vibrant downtown area for shopping and movies and everything you will need in between. But also on top of that, very friendly and accommodating people. They are from different parts of the world, so they will welcome you with open arms. We are the only university in that city, so also that is an added advantage in terms of internships and job opportunities. But we'll talk more about that later. So there's a quick brief intro about my location.
That's actually amazing. So what makes TRU the study destination for students?
Yeah, so the first thing is the programs. I have over 140 programs that I offer to international students. We have between 1 to 2 year long certificates and diplomas. I offer you 4-year bachelor degrees. I have 2-year master's options. In total, I have 9 faculties that you can choose from, but my most popular are tourism, arts, business, sciences. We have computer science, we have health sciences. So we offer you a wide breadth of programs, but also how we teach is we're very practically focused, because we want to ensure our students have the real life job skills to succeed in their career. So pretty much we call it experiential learning, which is pretty much 10% theory, books and journals, but 90% you're in the real world. And we have the support systems, whether the career counseling team, academic advising, career guidance, who are there to ensure that from semester 1, day 1, you have access to all the practical experience for you to put it in the real world. So things like workshops, internships, summer part-time jobs, co-ops, they're all available to you, international students, to ensure that you're making the most of your time at TRU. But also on top of that, sports, we're very big in sports. We have 10 sports teams, so makes you a well-rounded student to join our sports teams. I mentioned research. We also offer scholarships for research, so you could get some discounts off your research. But also, being the only university in the city, as I mentioned earlier, both part-time and full-time employment is very high. And after graduating, we have an employment rate of 95%. So pretty much that is a result of our hands-on approach to learning, but also the city has many opportunities in terms of employability, but also we give our students a well-rounded education, not just books, but also sports, but also clubs, events and festivals, to make them well-rounded. And by the time they graduate, they will be highly successful. So I'd say those are kind of the few things TRU has to offer that makes us stand out.
That's actually amazing. You have so much to offer just for students that come onto campus. Just out of curiosity, what's like your favorite sport or your favorite club that you would recommend?
Football, because I am a football fan. Yes, not American football, but soccer.
But soccer, yeah. You gotta get the terms right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so what's campus life like for international students?
So it's very active. We have 3,000 very loud and proud international students. So pretty much there are over 100 clubs students can join. We have events and festivals every semester. We call them cultural shows where they showcase their cultures, their different traditions. We learn from that. We have music festival. And that's the one thing we're very proud of is the diversity, and we celebrate it every chance we can get. Also on top of that, there's varsity athletics. If you're into your varsity sports, we have varsity athletics team for you to join. We have 10 teams that compete at the highest level of university sports. The only sports teams I don't have is golf and ice hockey, but everything else I have. I mentioned the city itself, very beautiful. So we have leisure activities where you could go for things like camping, whitewater rafting, skiing, mountain climbing. So the city has a lot to offer in terms of outdoor adventure. So yeah, there's a lot students can get involved in. Also, we have things like I'm part of the international office, and our students on campus can be part of the international office. You could join our social media ambassador campaign where you are sharing your stories to other African students. It could be like me traveling across Africa, talking about TRU. So there's so many ways to get involved on campus. And it's very hard for the students I have helped go abroad for them not to be involved. It's very difficult. There's so much that you just find yourself doing one or two, three things, but there's plenty to do as an international student on campus.
So as, for example, a social media ambassador, let's say someone's not really good on social media, do they have to be on social media to represent TRU, or it's not a necessity?
Yeah, so it's every activity has different parts to it. So you have the leaders, you have the organizers, you have the ones who come up with the ideas. So it's pretty much what is your strong suit and how can you make the most of those opportunities. So let's say you don't want to be the face of social media, you can always help in the background, you can always come up with the good ideas. So the nice thing about our campus is we want students to shine in what they're comfortable in. If it's not for you, then you don't have to do it, but we encourage you to be involved in something that will bring you more than just books. Because you're in a foreign country, you want to enjoy every single aspect of it. So we do encourage you, whatever your personality is, there's always something for you to do. And also there's guidance. So we won't force you, we won't rush you into something you're not comfortable with. We always have a discussion to see, okay, there are these options. What would you like to do? And if you don't want to do it, don't worry, we'll revisit it later, but we don't pressure you to be anything that you're not comfortable with. But we encourage you to get out of your comfort zone because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to make the most of this new and amazing environment to achieve your career ambition, but also discover something new about yourself that you didn't know.
That's actually amazing. So speaking of that, are there any hidden gems that international students can look out for on the campus?
So the first thing is that our campus has a lot of wildlife, deers. So you might find yourself, yeah, it's a very green and clean campus. So you might find yourself meeting a deer while you're walking to class, but it's normal.
Okay.
The other thing is you'll notice we're in a very residential area, so we have a lot of shopping centers close by. So pretty much your Starbucks, your shopping centers are right across the road, so you'll find it's very convenient. Also on campus, we have 12 restaurants. So you could pretty much spend a whole week discovering one restaurant at a day. So
Yeah.
we have fantastic restaurant opportunities for you. We have had students who can also join because students are allowed to work on campus. So we even have student-run cafeterias where you could help out in a cafeteria. You're getting because it's work. You're actually getting pocket money, but you're also being part of a community. So and also the nice thing about TRU is when you come on campus, there are two rivers that cut the city of Kamloops in two that are called Thompson River. We actually get our name from that. So you'll notice it the moment you land. There are two gigantic rivers that cut across the city called Thompson River. So if you're wondering where that name comes from, it's from those two rivers. So there are a lot of gems. Just expect a very clean and green campus. You'll meet wildlife, but I won't share all the other details. We have another thing we have is every semester now that COVID is, we have managed to control COVID. We have barbecues every semester.
Oh,
Just an outing. Yeah, of course not the winter because
okay.
it's
Yeah.
snowy. But now that it's summer, we have barbecues just to get to know each other, just to have some fun. But yeah, those are kind of the things. So the thing I'll let the viewers know is it's a community kind of campus. So
Right.
is the city. So we really don't be surprised when you ask so many questions. It's just normal. They're just being friendly. They're not being nosy. But that's how that's how they are. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm still stuck on the wildlife on the campus thing. I mean, uh, sure, if you say so.
They're very harmless. Don't worry. They're very harmless.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm sure if everyone is concerned, the wildlife may be on campus, but they are harmless, so you
Yeah.
are safe.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
I'll now hand over to you to give us your presentation and tell us more about TRU and the opportunities that one has after graduating.
Absolutely. So let me just share my screen. So pretty much, I'll skip the introduction because I've kind of covered it. But for those who want to know how the campus looks like, this is pretty much the campus. It's a very beautiful campus surrounded by a lot of natural beauty, as you can see. We are about, so the city center, what I was telling you was this nice fact where the two rivers literally cut the city center. And we're about 15, 20 minutes away from the city center. We do have a bus service that takes students from campus to the city center, included in their tuition fees. So for their convenience, but pretty much fully equipped campus for you. We have on-campus accommodation, gyms, libraries, hospitals, clinics, Olympic standard sports facilities and gymnasiums. So everything that you'll need is within this campus during your time at TRU. And again, some nice pictures about the facilities, but today's agenda is this. And I mentioned before, we have 3,000 very proud and loud international students, also a very young university. So we do encourage our students to get involved in many of the on-campus activities. And this is just a small, quick guide to get you into how to make the most of your opportunities at TRU. So the first one is, I mentioned how we teach. By just how we teach, you will be involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. So we're a very practical focused university where we make sure that you have real life application for the skills you're learning. And what you see in your screen is just a small snapshot of that. So a quick run through is things like co-op terms, we have internships, we have field schools, we have the clubs, research, workshops, publications, an entrepreneurship community, part-time jobs, we have work study. So this is pretty much how we will teach you every semester, by ensuring that on top of what you're learning in the classroom, you're also using any and all of these opportunities to kind of get that real life experience, so that by the time you graduate, you're highly successful. And the aim of these opportunities are for you to build a strong resume and a strong network system, so that by the time you graduate, everyone wants to hire you because you have extra skills apart from your studies while you're at TRU. But apart from that, we have over 100 clubs that you could join. Clubs are a great way for you to meet your peers, exchange ideas, and they could be clubs based on your subjects. They could be clubs based on where you come from. They could be clubs based on where you uh, on sports. Could be clubs based on anything. So we have 100 clubs for you to choose from. You could even create your own club, and this is just a nice sample of some of the clubs we have. We have business law club, entrepreneurship club. We even have dancing clubs. So it doesn't have to be too serious. It can be anything you want it to be. And we have clubs that go from the serious to the relaxing, because it's a nice way for you to network and communicate and network, and also communicate your ideas and make friends. And we have had situations where people met in a club and then ended up being best friends and ended up being business partners. So it's very possible. So the first thing I would tell the viewers is get involved. There's so much happening on campus, including clubs. You could be a member or even a leader or even an organizer. You don't have to always shine out. It's whatever you're comfortable in, right? The next thing is what we call co-op education. This is a great way for you now to gain relevant work experience while you're studying. We have a very aggressive and active careers department that every semester makes sure that it provides our students with the internship opportunities, both part-time and full-time, to succeed. They'll also help you with career coaching, resume writing, how to dress up for an interview, how to set up a LinkedIn page, because LinkedIn is a very big tool. So how do you set it up? How do you make yourself stand out so that employers can get the best, can get a hold of you? So they're in charge of also the co-op, which is mainly for our undergraduate programs, where it's it could be 6 months up to a year of paid work internship. You get a salary at the end of the month. And we have over 500 employers for you to choose from to do your co-op. And these include organizations like Disney, the Canadian government, HSBC, EA Sports, KPMG, BlackBerry, and the list goes on. So this is a fantastic opportunity for you to maximize on job opportunities even before you've graduated and you're shadowing a professional. You are showing them your skills, you're showing them your knowledge, you're showing them your desire, and they will take note of it. And I mentioned earlier, because of such initiatives, 95% of our students will get jobs after they graduate. So it's pretty much on you, and you will automatically have that desire to make the most of these opportunities. But apart from that, we have also research. Our science students can get into research as early as their first year. They can be research assistants. And if you can bring up new ideas, you could also get a scholarship out of research, up to 6,000 Canadian off your tuition fee. So this is a fantastic way to create new ideas, even have first-hand knowledge of a research student. And also it's a way to improve your resume and increase your academic and professional success because it shows that you made your time in university more interesting and rewarding. So this is a great way for especially my science students, get involved in research. There are so many opportunities for you to explore new ideas, polished up on current ideas, and also you have a scholarship as a reward. And it will be a very nice accomplishment on your resume after you graduate. We also have what I was mentioning, events and festivals. This is the where we celebrate once a year our diversity. We're very proud of it, and you could be part of the organizing committee. You could be part of the leadership committee. You could be part of the presenters. This is a great way for you to be proud of where you come from, and let people know where you come from. We have seminars where students get to learn about different cultures. They exchange ideas. It's a great way to break boundaries, but also to be one community, one family under TRU. So this is a nice, amazing opportunity to make the most of your time at TRU through our events, which we call I-Days or International Days. We have sports. For my sports fanatics, I mentioned earlier, I have 10 varsity sports teams that you can compete in, that compete at the highest level of university sports. We have world-class training facilities. You're competing with top athletes. You're learning life lessons like leadership, teamwork. It's a fantastic addition to your resume. So this is another great way to get involved. We have Olympic standard facilities for you you to do your varsity sports. So great opportunities for you to be involved in, make the most of your time at TRU before you graduate. We also have leisure activities. This is pretty much a nice snapshot of some of the I would say some of the attractions of the city of Kamloops. And we organize this every semester. You come as a group, or we have leisure activities like whitewater rafting, camping, skiing. And it's a nice way to meet friends, meet fellow classmates, meet fellow countrymen, meet people from different worlds, to make friends, enjoy a new activity that you haven't done in your home country. So it's a nice way for you to get involved. And it shows that you've added more to the skills that you brought from your home country, and you've expounded your knowledge. So you've accepted new and exciting ideas. And that's a big addition. And most employers are looking for people who are open-minded to try on new challenges. And these activities are a great way for you to break out of your comfort zone, meet new friends, and have fun as well. So another great opportunity we offer to our international students through the international office as part of our way to get you outside and enjoy the beautiful city of Kamloops. But also social media. I mentioned we have a very vibrant social media community. Students are pretty much the driving force behind our social media platforms. It's their stories, their direction, and we're very proud of that because it enables new students to get a genuine, unfiltered description of TRU. So you could join our social media communities, be part of our social media teams, be brand ambassadors. And as we talked earlier with Tendai, you don't have to be a leader. You could be part of the organizing team. You could be, if you're good in art, you could be part of the post artwork, graphic designing. There's so much to be involved in our social media communities. We even have scholarships for students who become our ambassadors. So again, great initiative, great incentives for students who want to be part of spreading the word of TRU. And I'd encourage you to visit our platforms to kind of see the high quality work that we produce. And this is straight from students. It's amazing what a phone can do. And these are their testimonials, these are their stories, and you could be part of them. And you could also share this with other people from across the world to encourage them to come to TRU and enjoy this amazing opportunity. So that's at TRU World if you want to get more information about our platforms. But once you're on campus, you're free to join the social media team, and you're free to share your stories or even help plan and make new ideas for social media content. Also on our campus, we have over 13 departments that are there for you to ensure that during your studies, you're on the right path. And these include academic support, health and wellness. We have career counseling, academic advising. So pretty much also the university ensures that you're making the most of your time. You're not getting too stressed. You're also planning accordingly. You're not falling off your classes to ensure that by the time you graduate, you're highly successful. So pretty much it's just, you just have to ask for help. But also because we have very small class sizes, your lecturer will notice in case your performance dips. They will obviously notice because they know you on a one-on-one basis. 31 students, a lecturer will know each of your names. And you will also have an academic advisor who will be monitoring your performance to ensure that you're performing well. So there's pretty much a lot of support. And we have seen this support give students more confidence to chase other activities because, of course, you're there for academics, but the moment your academics are well, then we have seen students able to now tackle other things like clubs, events and festivals and all that. So we give you that support to make you the best version of yourself and also to push you off your outside your limits. Not too much that it will scare you, but enough that will make you learn something new and become a better version of yourself. So yeah, so those are kind of the things that TRU does on campus. And remember, this comes from the original thing, which is practical learning, experiential learning. All these are branches of that. And it was a nice snapshot to give you more information, but there's so much more. We have workshops, publications, we have job fairs, where companies come on campus and you kind of present present yourself as a worthy candidate. So there's so much more happening at TRU apart from what I've shown you. So it's a fantastic place to study and live as an international student, and also value for money because you will be highly employed after you graduate. So that's pretty much it from my end, Tendai. I hand it back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Simi. Really appreciate it. Just a couple of questions. You said the employability after graduation is over 90%, which is really amazing. Is this in Canada only?
Yes, so this is based off all of Canada and the US.
Okay, great. So
yeah, because the US is our nearest neighbor, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so people are able to work, because you did mention some major corporations that people could work for on some attachments and stuff. So it's US or Canada.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's actually amazing. And then like you had mentioned on-campus jobs, like working at the restaurants and in the international office and stuff. Is there like a centralized place that people can find these jobs?
Yes, it's called the international office. So pretty much we have an international office, but where you get all the information in one, but also you get it in your student email. So you'll be emailed all opportunities, and also on notice boards. So we pretty much, you can either come to the international office or just get an update every 2 weeks on your email, student email, about opportunities in the city.
Right. Then another one is the alum network. I assume is extremely vast over the past 50 years. Is it easy for someone to connect with somebody through the network?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, that's one of the, because we have departments. So we have student advising. We call them our student advisors. Their job is to keep track of all of our alumni. And if you need to connect to them, it's very easy for you to reach out to them, because they're always willing and able to talk to new students about TRU, because they have been through the process. So they will not ignore you. They'll be very happy. They will guide you. And we have a whole Facebook community where you could connect to them if you want to get more information. We have individuals who come back to campus and talk to our students when they come for orientation. So yeah, it's very accessible, very available to all of our students during and even after your time at TRU.
That's actually amazing. So it basically allows for people to keep in touch right after graduation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So with all the clubs and the sports that you had mentioned, is that dependent on one's academics? Because you mentioned that student advisors and lecturers are basically part of your academic journey, and they can see see the student as they go throughout the course. So let's say hypothetically someone's grades are declining, and they're also part of a sport or club. Does that then mean they're advised not to play the sport, or like what's the situation there? How's that handled?
Yeah, so usually what will happen is most of the times you'll be asked to go for extra tuition or extra tutoring. But what will happen is you'll have to manage, for instance, your time at, if you're in a sports team, we'll have to limit the amount of hours there. So you could focus on getting your grades up. But usually it's more of, we will work with every touch point. So for instance, I will work with your coach, but also your lecturer, to make sure that we have a balance, right? So to make sure that as much as you're good in sports, you also need to be good in grades. And if you need extra tuition at a certain time, we'll just work it within your calendar so you're not missing out on the others. It's always a balancing act, and that's the point of having a network of departments where we can communicate with each other over one student's situation. And we can also sit down with the student and be able to come up with a timetable where, okay, during this time, it's classes. We've talked to your coach. He's okay with that. Just like that, yeah.
That's actually awesome. You actually get the support that you're mentioning earlier throughout the academic journey at TRU. Does that also impact like a student job if they have a job on campus? Is there also the consultation with the student advisor?
Yes, yes, they still have access with the student advisor. But the moment your grade starts slipping, then we'll have to reevaluate whether you're focusing too much on one thing other than the other. So whether it's on-campus jobs, sports, in your clubs, you will always have that constant communication with your academic advisor, because your grades is pretty much your first point before anything else. So at some point, if anything is affecting your grades, you might have to reevaluate it, reschedule it, or even sometimes cut it for just a semester or two and then get back to it later. Because the worst is for you to have low grades and get discontinued. Yeah, because you have to maintain a certain grade. If you don't, you'll be discontinued, and of course that affects your visa. And we don't want that. So we really pay attention on making sure academics are stable, and then everything else on top will be okay.
That's true. And then the application process for employment. When would you advise the best time to apply for a job? In the final year of your degree, 2 years before your degree, or as soon as you graduate, start applying? Like when do you feel is the best time for students to apply?
So usually it's the beginning of your final year is when you start applying for jobs. In fact, it's within the schedule of your studies, where you'll start getting assistance in your final year, the beginning of your final year, to start applying for jobs. So by the time you graduate, you already have an offer, and you can now progress to the working rights that you have of up to 3 years. So usually we don't wait for you to graduate. We want for you to do, we'd probably say a year in advance before. So at least we know by the time you graduate, you're going to this and this organization. It helps your work permit application as well.
Right. Yeah. How about if a student wants to take a year off after graduating and then apply for work? Is that something that's on offer?
It's possible, but very risky, because if you're taking a year off, you're kind of losing that momentum you've built from your studies. So which means if you go out then come in, some people might forget who you are. Employers might have already found people in those places. So it's a very risky thing to do, to take off then come in. Unless there's a very genuine reason, it will make sense, like medical or maybe an emergency. But if it's just taking a break for the sake of taking a break, it's very risky, because it will affect your working rights. Because your working rights only activate once you have an active job. And it's much easier when you're doing that while you're studying, because you have all the support, so that by the time you leave campus, it's mainly just focusing on the job. So yeah, I would say it's very risky, and I hope it doesn't come to that. It's best if you're within the university, you get the support, so by the time you're out, you already have that foundation and that job ready for you.
Yeah, that'll actually be amazing. And then speaking on the sporting side, do some athletes become professionals in Canada, USA?
Yes, we've had some athletes who have gone, because usually the next stage after our varsity sports is the professional leagues. So we've had students who have progressed to professional leagues, volleyball, basketball, not yet African students. So we're hoping, because we have a big population of African students, we're hoping we could have some success stories in the African continent of students who have gone through our sports teams and become professional athletes. So yeah, but we usually have it, students break into professional leagues through our varsity sports teams. It's very intense. That's even why we don't actually consider whatever qualifications you have in your home country, because once you land, you will do tryouts afresh. So if you won at the national level or you're great, that's good, but you will have tryouts with everyone else to join the teams afresh. And if the coach wants you to do something in a certain amount of time, if you don't, you won't get in. So it's very competitive. Yeah, very competitive. And also as well, once you get in, we have incentives like scholarships. Students who are in our sports teams also have scholarships as well. Yeah.
No, that's actually amazing. That also sounds like the research assistant position, where you can attach yourself onto some research projects, and also there's the benefits or the incentive of getting a scholarship at the end of it. Are those type of jobs easy to come by, the research assistants?
Yes, they are, absolutely. So It's just a matter of the research assistant, but it depends on which kind of research. So if you want to start your own fresh research, it does become difficult because you have to really prove a lot, but you can join existing research, and they always have, and if I didn't mention it, I'll repeat, we're one of 6 research universities in British Columbia. So we have an active research department that is always looking to find new ideas, whether it's environmental sustainability, green energy. So it's very easy for students to be part of a research, be a research assistant, depending on what science major they're focusing on, because we're actively looking at research. But when it comes to pioneering new ideas, probably I wouldn't expect you to do that in your first year, maybe in your 3rd year when you've had enough time in Canada. But to join our existing research is very easy. Yeah.
That's actually amazing. That's all the questions that I have. Do you have any closing remarks?
Yeah, so definitely TRU, something to consider in British Columbia. I mentioned it is a university that is very community focused. We have online, we have a lot of resources for you. You just go to tru.ca. You'll have a lot of online resources where you could hear it straight from our students, testimonials. Also, you could have more information about our programs, also videos. So we have a lot of resources online for you to look at. And also we have a lot of success stories from Africa. So don't think it's something foreign. We do have African students on campus who are doing well from every part of the African continent, every city. We do have a big number of African students. So if you're looking at studying in Canada, definitely consider TRU in British Columbia as one of your first choices.
Definitely so. Thank you so much for your time and your presentation, Sydney. I really appreciate it, and we really appreciate it as Sable International Study Abroad. And we look forward to interacting with you soon, and hopefully hearing more amazing stories about what people can gain from their time on a TRU campus.
Great, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Sure. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one, my friend.